What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sunday Sports Club podcast with Allison Kuch, a podcast all about sports sometimes.
Who you got on your show today? Who's the guest?
Isaac Rochelle is on my show. You guys, I just hate recording solo episodes.
So then this is basically my show.
We talk all the time, so this just feels really natural.
I do offer when Allie's like, oh, I wish I didn't have to film a solo episode. I was like, I'll just do it.
No, but I have a few really fun guests coming up in the next few weeks. So that this would be my last solo episode for a second.
More fun than me?
I just talk all the time to myself, to you, to Scotty.
It's a bad place to be.
It feels good to be sitting down here, but it is really hard to record with your husband. Well, one, we work together 24/7. Like, we're always together. So I'm like...
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on that. Like, I enjoy being with you, but I just feel like relationships need time. They need time to be solo.
No, I definitely think that if you are together 24/7 in a relationship, I think it's really unhealthy.
I feel like I've spent more time solo with Scotty, though. Like, meaning since we've had a kid, it's actually been easier to be like, I'm going to go do this by myself because somebody has to stay home and take care of the kid. So then it's like, you in a weird way, you still have a lot of time to yourself.
Yeah, but you're not alone.
Yeah. Kinda.
But right now, while we're recording this episode, Scotty's napping.
She's on the monitor.
You guys, being a parent is fucking insane. Scotty's napping. We have the monitor out. The two dogs are sitting outside and the groomer is coming. Like, our life is just, I am so looking forward to moving into our new house that's fully renovated. We have a nice big yard there. It's going to feel so homey, and it's just like designed to be for us.
Yeah, we are privileged. It's going to be nice though. I mean, after moving because of the NFL so many times and like having all these different things in all these different places, it's just going to be nice to be settled.
Yeah, I've like worked my ass off to get the house that we're renovating.
Yeah. Also,
I do know that we are very privileged to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, extremely. But it'll be a new phase of life too. Like, who knows what'll happen with football, but we'll probably be on the back end of football at that point, in a steady home. So
yeah, if you guys didn't know, we're renovating our house. We've owned it for almost 3 years now, but that's
kind of crazy. Went by super. Oh yeah, we bought it when I played for the Browns.
Yeah,
before the Browns.
So we've been renovating this house for the past year, and this is like our first home.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. The renovations are going to be unbelievable.
I'm just looking forward to not moving.
Yeah, more than anything, literally. I don't think it's hard to explain. Like, we've gotten rid of a lot of stuff, but at one point we had like 3 separate couches, like from 3 different places. We had
I'm not
many
gonna
mattresses.
lie, one of my favorite couches that we've owned was $700 from Amazon.
I couldn't stand that couch, like, at all. That was in Cleveland, and that thing, it just got so gross.
It pilled up.
It was gross. That couch needed to be burned.
That entire house or that entire apartment was literally like Amazon, IKEA.
We didn't have anything.
We didn't have
anything. We had a patio that was the same
You mean
size
anything
as
in terms of like stuff that we already owned?
Like, when I signed that lease and you moved there, you only came with what was in your car.
Yeah.
We didn't have any, like, it was empty.
Isn't it crazy to think like pre-kid?
Oh my God. Things seem so easy. Like, everything seems
I don't know
easy.
how I ever thought I didn't have time.
If we didn't have a kid, we could literally be like, hey, let's just batch record 4 episodes today.
Yeah, but lucky for you guys get these very recent. Like,
yeah, it's just people who complain about not having enough time without a kid. Not saying it's not valid, but like, it's not valid. I'm sorry. When you have a kid, you're like, oh, the idea of no time is real.
Yeah, we're really changing up our roles in our marriage, as parents, in our work-life balance. It's kind of all over the place. And speaking of positions, we are going to be talking about NFL positions. So this is something that I really did want to have Isaac on. I could talk about this all on my own, but I feel like if Isaac's describing it, I can make it as least boring as possible, because talking about positions, I feel like that's such a boring fucking episode. But when you add in Allie's humor...
Yeah. Maybe we'll just let you...
What?
It's like the fake laugh, like insert fake laugh. Maybe we'll just let you explain it, and then like I'll interject, because technically I'm like a comfort blanket here, so you don't have to do a solo episode. So
Isaac is my comfort blanket to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so we're gonna go over all the positions, and I feel like this is like kind of important when knowing about a football game, just because
It's huge. What's your favorite position other than defensive end?
quarterback, because I feel like I would be a quarterback.
That's lame. You wouldn't be a quarterback.
No, honestly, I think my favorite position on a football team is a long snapper because they can be in the NFL for so long and they just like coast. I mean, if you're good at your job, you coast, right?
I don't. Long snapper feels like a random favorite position.
But aren't they they can stay in the NFL for a long time. Doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah, but they have to be perfect. I mean, very rarely do guys just last forever.
Well, you're literally describing me. I'm perfect, so I would probably last a long time.
That's funny. Okay, let's hear what you have on the docket for these positions.
Okay. Well, starting off, during a football game, there are 11 guys on offense and 11 guys on defense.
22 total. Yep.
And so you have the offensive line going against the defensive line, and then you have your secondary.
Correct. Referring to defense.
Oh, there's no secondary.
Secondary is just a defense. That's like a defensive term.
So then what are the other players if you're not on the offensive line on offense?
It's just like skill positions. Yeah.
See, you learn something new every day.
Your skill positions are your offensive positions that are more like athletic, like receivers, running backs, tight ends are kind of like an in-between.
Wow, Isaac, you're gonna get some hate. Are you calling a wide receiver more athletic than an offensive lineman?
That's not what I said. It's literally what I said.
It's literally what you said.
Quite literally what I said. But yeah, that's maybe we'll just do weights, like if you're 220 and under your skill position. I don't know, but that's kind of how we categorize it. But secondary is more of a defensive.
Okay, so to summarize it, offensive positions are quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end, fullback, and offensive line.
Yeah, fullback's kind of a antiquated term, not really used. Fullback exists, but it would be running back in today's game, or like a tailback.
Fullback is a position that has kind of been pushed out a little bit, right?
Who's the most famous fullback in the NFL right now?
Isaac, you're asking me a question I don't know the answer to.
Trivia hint would be his wife became super well known because she makes clothes.
Oh,
Yushak.
Really?
Yeah, he's
a fullback.
Fullback, so like that's a fullback, but you have to have the perfect offense to have that. Most teams don't have fullbacks.
What could a fullback also play?
Tight end or running back. They're like a tight end running back baby. It's just
we had a baby.
Yeah, she's a fullback.
So I guess we'll start off offense with probably the most important and most known position, and that is quarterback.
Yep.
So I would describe the quarterback as kind of like Regina George.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely Regina
running
George.
the show, naming off the rules. Well, not really the rules, but like naming plays, right?
Yeah. You love them, you hate them. Very hot and cold. Like very rarely can you be an average quarterback in the NFL for a long time. Like you're either really good. Okay.
Second string quarterbacks?
No, what I'm saying is like if you're a starting quarterback, Regina was starting. Yeah. When you're starting, you have to be good. If you're not a good quarterback, you're getting benched. There's no average, whatever. Yeah. So I'm saying that's why Regina is like you got to be great.
Yeah, you got to like get back up when you're hit by a bus.
Yeah.
So they call and initiate the plays. They throw or hand the ball to the receiver. Are they actually calling the plays? Or are they getting like a signal from?
Well, they have an earpiece in, so they're getting the plays to an earpiece.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you see a green dot on
don't
helmets,
you think that I would be overstimulated?
It's a lot. That's why you see quarterbacks going like this because they're like trying to hear.
And so if a crowd is really loud, it's hard for them to hear?
Yeah, less so for like the reason crowds are loud versus offenses when the opposing offense is on the field is because of the snap count, not because of getting the call. So
you don't know that. You don't know why I'm cheering, Isaac.
I mean, I hope you're cheering because I would be on the field or sideline. I'm joking. I'm not joking. Fun fact, quarterback's the only position that touches the ball every single play.
The center.
That was a test that you passed. That was a test.
I was like, who's passing him the ball?
So the center and quarterback are the only positions that touch the ball every time. But
who's the only other player that has an earpiece in?
Offensively, nobody else would have an earpiece in. Defensively, whoever's calling your defense, generally a linebacker. But back to quarterback. So quarterback, There's a bunch of different types of quarterbacks in the NFL. You have dual threat quarterbacks, which are athletic. They can run and they can throw the ball. Lamar Jackson's a great example. And then you have your like classic pocket quarterbacks. I would consider like Jared Goff like a pocket quarterback, sits there, makes his throws. But they're like really calling the shots. They're driving the ship of your offense. If your quarterback's good, your team's good.
So if your quarterback sucks, you suck.
Yeah, it's going to mess up your offense because 70%.
Do you think you could have a good team with no good quarterback?
No. You could have a good team. You're not going to win a championship. You're not going to win a championship. 70% of plays in the NFL, it's around 70% are pass. So
interesting.
You need a good quarterback.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And they're usually the highest paid.
They're always the highest paid.
Not always. On a team? Right now, the 49ers, the highest paid player on the 49ers right now is not the quarterback.
It's the highest paid position. Let's just leave it at that. Generally, like
in general,
quarterbacks on average are your by far highest paid position.
So whenever you think of quarterback, who is the first person that comes to mind?
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Tom Brady. I mean, he was retired, obviously, but Tommy B.
Yeah, that's what I would say. And so the quarterback is throwing the ball. Who's catching the ball? The wide receiver.
So same as, you can take a stab at it.
I was just going to say they catch the ball. They're out wide and they're receiving.
I mean, it's true, but it's, without getting into too much detail, same as quarterback, where receivers, you have a bunch of different types of receivers. You have like...
When I think of receivers, I think skinny.
But not like...
Skinny Kings.
DK Metcalf is buff. Like, he's a huge dude. So, like, not all your receivers are just, like, twigs. Like, you have slot receivers. You have, like, just wide receivers. Like, you have a bunch of different types.
So some aren't twigs.
Types.
They're more like branches.
Yeah. God. Literally. Deion Branch. Great receiver.
So are wide receivers the only players that are allowed to catch a pass?
No. Any eligible player. So, this is going to get... I don't want to get too deep in this.
Don't get too deep.
But
I didn't bring my floaties.
Only certain players on offense are eligible to catch the ball. I
Isaac halfway heard that
jokes.
joke.
Only certain players on offense are eligible to catch the ball. Mm-hmm. So a receiver is not the only player that can catch a ball, but they're usually eligible.
Correct. So you don't have to declare a wide receiver to be eligible every single play.
No.
Okay, that's good thing to know. So they are a well-named position because a wide receiver can score a lot of touchdowns.
For sure.
So people usually know their name or what they look like, right?
Yeah. Anybody who can score, you kind of get to know them.
Yeah. They could run a total of 1,000 yards per season.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That actually seems kind of low.
There's what wide receiver is running 100 yards a game?
There's 17 games. If you run a go route, that's 40 to 50 yards right there. You don't even know what a go route is, but it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, well...
It seems low, though.
Some of the best wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb. Anyone I'm missing in your head?
No, those are... I mean,
some of the...
There's a lot of really good receivers. I
feel like every NFL team has a good wide receiver, no?
You like to have a good receiver, good quarterback. Like, that's a good... It's a nice little connection that you can have.
Where is a wide receiver lining up? I want to give the people listening a good visual. So think of the quarterback in the center. Right in front of the quarterback, you have the offensive line. Just think of them as like a fucking wall because they kind of are a wall. They're big guys. And then you're bigger, baby. Ew, I've never called Isaac
How about this?
Baby.
Picture an umbrella.
No. Okay, you're already making this complicated. So you have the quarterback in the center. You have a line of men, the offensive line, basically a wall of men. And then where's the wide receiver? To the left, to the right?
Both. Depending on what personnel you're in, we're not going to talk about that.
Oh,
it doesn't matter.
Not both, but either. Or do you have two wide receivers?
You could have three. I mean, it just depends on what personnel you have out.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so there's a lot of...
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So different, yeah. I could get really, really detailed with this, and I'm not going to. But it
Isaac
just
should
depends.
hold like a TED Talk, like a class that you can take.
It gets down to the nitty gritty.
Isaac University.
This conversation right here about receivers is very base level,
and it's interesting because as somebody who plays on defense, typically, you can tell what kind of like play a team is going to run based off of what guys you see out there. Correct?
100%. That's what you spend your game planning doing. So like you might you might go into the week and be like, all right, we're playing the 49ers this week. When Juszczyk is in the off position, meaning he's like by the tackle, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, the ball might be coming towards me. Like, and we get stats where it'll be like 60% of the time.
So you have to be smart to read that.
You have to not be like stressed and be like, just get in a stance. Like you have to be able to take a breath.
So there's more to defense than just going after the person with the ball. Like sometimes your job is not going after the person with the ball.
You're always trying to make a play, but yes.
Yeah.
There's different.
But if you just go after the ball, you could miss your guy and then create a hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
I'm like, yeah, well, are we going to talk about O-line, running backs, tight ends?
You guys, fall is my favorite time of the year with football. The leaves are changing. Well, not in California, but all over they're changing. And I just feel like it's a cozy season, plus fall fashion, especially from Macy's. Every year, football season has been a different type of weather, but that doesn't stop me from getting cozy in my fall clothing from Macy's. Macy's selection of boots, sweaters, and coats is unmatched. And I truly love the fall season because I feel like it has so much to do with the cozy vibe of it all. Like hot cocoa, going and picking out pumpkins, Halloween, Thanksgiving. It's just giving coziness. And whenever I think of coziness, I'm thinking blankets, sweaters, gloves. I'm a sucker for a cute sweater boot outfit combo. Like I just feel like everybody looks good in it. And I recently took a trip to Macy's with Isaac, and they have so many brands and options to choose from. I mean, something for the entire family, like literally even dogs. I got a cashmere sweater from there, and I've been living in it ever since. It's the coziest, cutest sweater, but they have so much to choose from, especially when it comes to your fall wardrobe. I've personally been trying to create a capsule wardrobe, and it's been going really well. I have a few pieces in there from Macy's, and they're those high quality pieces without the huge price tag. So don't miss out on getting your winter essentials, whether that be boots, coats, sweaters, gloves, like literally anything fall fashion. Macy's has it all. So be sure to shop online at Macy's.com. That's MACYS.com, or swing by in store and get all of your fall essentials for you and for the whole family. You want to talk about the MVP in our household, Isaac?
Me.
No. I mean, kind of you, because you're the one washing our sheets every week. But our sheets from Cozy Earth are my favorite thing. There's just nothing, it's unmatched. Getting into a nice, clean set of sheets at night. It's cozy, it's comfy. It's literally Cozy Earth.
It's the best. And you have a nice little warm cup of tea, and you just cozy in.
And you're turning on and getting a movie. So give the gift of luxury this holiday season with Cozy Earth. It is, I feel like, such an unmatched holiday present is giving some new sheets, especially high quality sheets.
Absolutely. Well, low quality sheets can ruin your night. So the fact that these boys are high quality is a game changer.
I love cozying up with my Cozy Earth blanket. They also have pajama sets, the woman's stretch knit long sleeve pajama set, and men's pajamas. I feel like it's another thing that you can give this holiday season. I have been obsessed with putting on my cute little matching PJ set at night,
jams.
Crawling into my new sheets. And I feel like it's part of the holiday season is getting cozy.
Yeah, you need to get me some pajamas.
I actually have it. I should get you some Cozy Earth pajamas, not that I'm bragging about mine.
Where are mine at?
Okay, noted. I'll make that one of your Christmas gifts. So visit CozyEarth.com/Sunday and use my exclusive 40% off code Sunday to give the gift of luxury this holiday season. That's Cozy Earth, CozyEarth.com/Sunday, SUNDAY. If you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to say that you heard about Cozy Earth from this podcast, Sunday Sports Club podcast. Wrap the ones you love in luxury with Cozy Earth. A recent game changer for me has been Nutrafol. Ask Isaac. My hair was falling out in clumps. I was having a panic attack.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a conversation you want to have with your wife.
Like showing him the clump of hair in the bottom of the shower, which is natural because after postpartum, you go through so many different hormone changes. But then I discovered Nutrafol postpartum and immediately started taking it. And I swear my hair loss became so much more minimal. I noticed I definitely noticed a decrease in the amount of clumps in the bottom of my shower. And now that I guess I'm no longer postpartum, which is,
That's kind of crazy.
well, I feel like I'm always postpartum.
But you had all the fixins to make sure your postpartum journey was on point.
Yes, but now I've been able to graduate from the Nutrafol postpartum to the Nutrafol women's capsules. So Nutrafol, if you haven't heard of it, is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol, and I can definitely attest to that. Get results you can run your fingers through for a limited time. You find that funny?
Yeah, it's good.
Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Sunday. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Sunday. Thanks, Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Sunday. So now we're moving on to running backs, aka halfbacks. Are they the same thing?
Yeah, running back is just the easier way to describe it.
Okay. So they're kind of like the basically, I don't know how they do it all of football.
They do it all. I mean, a great example is Saquon Barkley. Runs the ball. He's done well running the ball this year, but he also can catch the ball. So he can run routes like a receiver. Generally, he's going to be coming out of the backfield, meaning he's going to be behind the O-line, but you can split him out. He can line up in the kind of the slot position, which is to the left or the right of the O-line. But running backs are your jack of all trades.
They're very dimensional.
Dimensional, yeah.
A very popular running back is Christian McCaffrey.
It's us. We finish each
Maybe
other's
it's
sandwiches.
maybe it's because like he's a jack of all trades. There's so many ways for him to get hurt.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, there is. Well, just because he's got a long history of getting hurt a lot. So it's kind of like you're bringing bad juju to him. But
sorry. Knock on wood. Fuck.
Yeah, he does a lot. I mean, a lot of the running backs, great running backs today are going to do a lot of different things. Austin Eckler, I just talked about Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, even Jordan Mason. Like a lot of these guys can do a million different things, and that's what makes them so great. It's what makes the running backs great again.
So then a running back is a halfback, then you have a fullback.
So halfback, delete that term. That doesn't matter for this podcast because you have running back, tailback, halfback.
Okay.
Those all kind of describe the same thing. A fullback is really like a bigger version of a running back who doesn't really get the ball. Like fullbacks very rarely get the ball. They really just block, and in some offenses like the 49ers, they catch the ball and do different things. But they're not giving Yushek the ball to run. He's blocking and he's running routes.
Okay, so that's more like a tight end then.
Yes, but conversely, you look at the Ravens, they have a fullback that's like 330 pounds. Like he was an O-line and they wanted to use him, and he's doing totally different stuff. He's never catching passes. He's never running the ball. All he does is bulldoze people. Everybody hates going against him. Yeah.
Good to know.
A lot of random information.
You kind of lost me there a little bit. I zoned out a little bit.
Yeah, fullbacks are... you don't even really need to talk about fullbacks that much. They're just kind of like they're your grunt work guy. They do stuff that nobody else wants to do.
Aw.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a tough position. You got to be built different. Yeah.
But fullbacks are Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah.
CJ Ham. That's somebody I've never heard of. Sorry, CJ Ham. Patrick Ricard.
Yep.
I don't know why I want to say Richard. Anyways, moving on to tight ends because I feel like they're a very popular position. They block.
In today's world, they forced it. They forced popularity.
I mean, they have a fucking holiday.
Yeah, it's a little dramatic. As a defensive end, we hate tight ends. Like, it is my philosophy. Tight ends should never block a defensive end. If I'm watching film, because they're just soft. I look at tight ends as soft. I mean this in the nicest possible way, but I view tight ends as like, they do a lot, but they should never block a defensive end. Ever. Ever. I'm dead serious. That's how we talk about it in our room. But a tight end, they do a million different things. It is one of the most versatile positions in the NFL.
Yeah, they're a hybrid between receiver and O-lineman.
Yeah. And like a really good tight end is invaluable. Like, it will totally change your team. I mean, look at George Kittle. He's probably the best example right now in the NFL of just like
Better than Travis Kelce?
Travis Kelce.
Don't piss off the Chiefs fans.
Travis
Isaac.
Kelce is one.
We get enough hate.
Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends in the NFL, but if I was getting a little in the nitty gritty, he's not a blocking guy. He's a position blocker. He does what he needs to do. He's not really intimidating for a defense or a defensive line. When that man Kittle lines up, he demands respect. Like,
whenever I hear George Kittle, I think of Skittles.
People fear George Kittle. Like, there are defensive ends in this NFL, in that league right now, who go to play George Kittle and they're like, "Let me get my mind right."
There are defensive ends in this room who are scared of Kittle.
No, but
I was like,
he's a really
is it you or me?
Really, really unique tight end. But tight ends do a lot of different things.
Okay. So then that's kind of it for the specialty positions. And then you have the offensive line. What?
No, you're right. You're right. It's not specialty positions. That'd be kicker, tight end, or kicker, long snappers,
Isaac,
but punters.
What do you want me to call them?
Your skill positions.
Okay, those are it for your skilled positions. Are you okay?
It's not past tense. It's not skilled. It's skill position.
Is this funny?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyways. Okay, so that's it for your skill positions. Jesus Christ, Isaac. I'm going to kick you off my podcast. In order from left to right, you have the offensive line, and it's left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle.
You said you were going to kick me off your pod. I'm not talking to you. Apologize.
I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're right. It's left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle.
I don't know why whenever I pictured the left tackle, they were lining up next to the center, but I guess that's wrong.
Yeah, you're way off.
So the left tackle, everybody knows the movie The Blind Side,
yeah,
even though it's controversial, apparently.
These guys are...
Isaac doesn't even respond to me at this point.
Because this is two different podcasts.
Okay.
Well, how would you describe O-lineman? I've never seen The Blind Side, so...
Really?
I have, but I'm acting like the viewer.
I would describe O-linemen as your big guys. Over 270 for sure.
If you're 270 pounds playing O-line in the NFL, boys are salivating.
So you're like 300 pounds.
On average, over 300.
Tall, big hands.
Jesus Christ, Allie.
You asked me to describe an O-lineman.
No, really, strong hands. They do it. They do a strength test and they measure your hands. That's
honestly, at the NFL Combine, it's like a fucking meat market. They're measuring your hand size, they're measuring how tall you are, your foot size.
You'd be surprised how much they measure.
Isaac.
What?
What else do they measure?
Well, I'll let your imagination run.
No,
I'm joking.
Your leg size.
No, they measure everything that is appropriate to measure. Everything on your body that can be measured, they're measuring.
And so you want a big, beefy.
So yeah, your O-linemen are your road graders. Think like you've got Ferraris driving around. You got little Jaguars, which my wife drives. This is your 18-wheeler.
You're talking to the girls about cars? Can you dumb it down, Isaac? Isaac's like, oh, let me describe Spanish by using French. No.
Like,
you have your protectants, right? You have people there to protect you, just like makeup. You have primer, you have SPF, you have a little under eye balm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Isaac.
Your O-linemen, they do it all. They run block, they pass block, they protect your quarterback, they create openings for your running back to run.
But they're very important because they could be a reason that you could run the ball or pass the ball.
Yeah. Second highest paid position in football is
your
actually,
left tackle.
It's not the left tackle anymore.
Not anymore?
I don't think it is. I think it's receiver, but
for a while it was a left tackle.
They pay a lot of money, these guys, to keep your quarterback safe. Your left tackle is the anchor of your offense, really.
I mean, think about it. If your quarterback is getting tackled or chased after every single play, they're going to get exhausted. They're tired.
You want your quarterback to sit there and make really safe, easy throws to your receivers.
Right. So,
but also you need run blocking.
But you need enough time to throw the ball and like let the play. What would you let the play out? Like you have
breathe.
To
let the thing breathe. No, but
you have to have enough time for your receivers to get down.
Yeah. Down where?
The field, Isaac.
A number of different routes. They could be coming across, whatever. But your O-line, they matter because if you have a run play, you need your O-line to be great. If you have a pass play, you need your O-line to be great. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Your O-line If they are trash, your team will quite literally be absolutely trash. It's impossible to have a good team with a bad O-line.
Really?
You could have the best quarterback in the NFL. If you have a trash O-line, good luck. You're wasting your money on your quarterback. It will ruin your team. It'll ruin your season.
It'll ruin your life.
It'll ruin your life. I'm not even joking. It will. When we're game planning against offenses, I'm like, oh, this O-line is trash.
Isaac would be so good at a solo episode because I haven't even responded to anything you've said, and you can go.
I'm like kind of angry.
I'm like kind of impressed. I'm like, oh, so this is what happens when I don't interrupt Isaac. You just go.
Yeah, I would keep going. I have a lot to talk about. Next position.
So then on the other side of the ball, you have the center who's lining up, who's snapping the ball to the quarterback all the time, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So on the other side, you have the defensive line.
Yep.
Can you name them?
You want me to name the defensive line positions?
Yep.
Depends on
Do
your
you even
defense.
know football, Isaac?
Grow up. You have like an outside linebacker / defensive end, defensive tackle, nose guard. Yeah. That's really it.
Isaac.
That's quite literally. It's symmetrical.
But line it up.
You don't really. Not every team has left and right. So okay.
So
but
who's
I'll
going
line
up
it
against the center?
If we're looking at a 4-3, which is the defenses that I've usually played in, that means 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. You can switch that 3-4, but we will only talk about a 4-3 today. You have 2 defensive ends. You have a nose guard.
Hold on. You have 2 defensive ends on both the ends.
Yeah, both ends of the offensive line.
Yeah.
A defensive tackle.
Okay.
And then a nose guard.
Okay. So then that's 5.
Yeah. No. 2 defensive ends, a defensive tackle, and a nose guard.
Okay. Can you just kind of describe them? So defensive ends are a little soft. They don't really have a lot of muscle.
Your defensive ends truly...
If you poke them in the eye, they're going to cry.
That has happened. Defensive ends are truly, in my opinion, your most athletic position on the field. You have to do so many different things. And
Isaac, you're cheating. You're a defensive end. You can't call that the most athletic on the field.
a lot of people would agree it's the most athletic position. I
would say a tight end is one of the most athletic positions because they're doing everything a defensive end is doing and catching the ball. Have you ever caught the ball?
99% of tight ends in the NFL would get demolished if they try to switch to defensive end. I can't say the other is true. It would be an easier switch for us. The reason I say defensive ends are the most athletic position, you might have to drop in coverage. It's rare, but you might have to. You're stopping the run. You have to rush a passer. You have to be strong enough to push against a 330 pound O lineman versus the run, or be fast enough to get around him, which isn't saying much, but you have to do it. So there's just a lot. It's a dynamic position.
So everybody on the defensive line is going up against the offensive line. Is your job mainly to like get the quarterback?
Yeah, or stop.
Have you ever tackled a wide receiver?
Yeah.
I don't know
times.
why. I just picture like wide receivers to be
Never get tackled by D linemen.
Yeah.
You have defensive ends. The closer you get to the middle of the D line, the bigger the guys get. So outside 245 pound wise to 270. Then D tackles, you want to be above 290. And then your nose guards, I played with a nose guard that was 350.
What?
Oh yeah.
350 pounds?
I've had nose guards that are 380.
No, you haven't.
Linval Joseph. I can go down a list of people.
Wow.
I mean, literally,
that song, I Need a Big Boy.
Yeah. No, but yeah, they're big
Not
guys.
Not me thinking you're big.
Because they might have like 3
in the
guys
nicest way,
on
not fat.
Like just like
I would
super
never use the word
athletic
fat.
trophy husband. I get it. It makes sense.
No, but it is. Have you ever played defensive line?
Nose guard?
No.
I've played every position on the D line in the NFL and in college.
Nose guard.
Yeah. They used to have me third down with the Chargers. I was the nose guard.
Really?
Yeah. I had my best season playing nose guard because I'm shifty. Defense gets complicated position-wise, though, because there's more defenses, like 4-3-3-4. You could randomly have, really 3-4s kind of have 5 D linemen down. It's like very weird. Like depending on what package you're in, you could have a safety turn nickel or like
package
a dime. You can all like people use linebackers different ways, cornerbacks. Like
You've lost the people, Isaac.
Yeah,
The
there's
people
a lot.
are shifting to a different podcast now.
So that's why I'm just gonna trust your questions because it's tough for me to.
Okay, so some important defensive linemen to know. Isaac Rochelle.
Yeah, makes sense.
Chris Jones with the Chiefs.
He's a great example. Watch Chris Jones. If the gals don't do anything else, go watch Chris Jones. He plays
His wife doesn't want to hear that, Isaac.
He plays every position on the D line, and he's one of the best in the NFL. He plays for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I just said that. Okay, so then aside from your defensive line, you have the secondary, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and a player on the secondary is a linebacker. So like you described, what?
You're not. Nobody's considering linebacker secondary.
So they're like defensive line.
So you have your front seven.
And you have your back seven.
That would be 14 players. You have your front seven. That is your 4 D linemen and 3 linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys that are in the box is what we call it, but we won't get into those details. That's your front seven. Secondary is your safeties and your cornerbacks.
Okay, so a linebacker.
Is not a he's not in
No,
secondary.
I know, but I'm saying let's talk about linebackers, Isaac. You have anything against linebackers?
No, linebackers, great guys. Spillane is a great example of a really good linebacker.
Oh, the Raiders love Spillane.
He does a good job in coverage because that's what they have to do, but he will come down and knock your head off.
So it's kind of in the name then. They back the line.
Yeah, literally.
Linebacker.
Yeah, that's it. It's very,
Notre Dame has a bar called Linebacker. I've
They
gotten
do.
drunk there before.
Linebackers, though, are your meatheads, like just your buff. When you think about just gritty, like I'm strongest dude on the team.
Big, meaty claws.
Yeah. That's your linebacker. Just mean. When you think of the breathe right strip across the nose and the eye black, that's your linebacker.
Okay. That's interesting, though.
Yeah.
So they'll stand behind the defensive line and like run up to stop any running plays or drop back to cover wide receivers and tight ends from the offense.
Yeah, they've got a tough position, though, because they don't know if it's run or pass. I mean, they have their cues.
Well, they can read the offense, no? You can tell me if it's run or pass.
Yeah, but you have to read your keys. So, for instance, and this is very surface level, a middle linebacker might be sitting there and is behind the line.
Well, he's standing,
and
Isaac.
he's king the guard. Because the guards pull a lot. I don't want to get too detailed, but he's watching the guard. So it might be like misdirection where he thinks it's run, so he takes 2 steps forward and then it's pass, and his guy is a receiver
gone.
that's gone, right? So that's why it's complicated. It's a tough position.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
And they're your guys calling the defense. So like when there's
some
a
people
huddle,
say they're one of the hardest positions on the defense.
one of, not the, but one of. But they didn't want you to miss this, but they're your green dot people. So they're your quarterback.
They have the mic.
They're your quarterback of the defense.
Isaac, nobody knows what a green dot is.
I explained it early in the episode, and I know everybody's taking notes, so they can refer back to their notes from earlier.
I don't think you ever said green dot.
Yeah, I did.
Quick break from today's episode to bring you guys a segment called Game Day Bites, brought to you by Shake Shack.
Yummy. No, seriously though, yeah.
So Shake Shack this year is bringing back free chicken Sundays just in time for football season. Yep, free Chicken Shack Sundays with a $10 minimum purchase. And of course we have 2 Chicken Shacks. So I'm going to have Isaac do a little taste test. You've had a Chicken Shack before, but I feel like, every bite, it just brings you back.
I always got room for more chicken.
So while we're eating these, I'm going to ask a few questions, and we're going to talk about our eating on game day around football.
Have you read the bag, by the way? No added hormones or antibiotics.
Okay.
It's kind of a big deal. Wow. That bite was really good.
Extra points for it being available on a Sunday because unlike some other chicken places that aren't available on a Sunday.
It doesn't even matter. I would get this every day of the week. I kind of want another bite. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, you can go ahead.
You hear how crunchy that is?
Some people don't like ASMR.
Okay. That's a bite that lingers.
I mean, I might as well take a bite myself from Isaac's Chicken Shack.
I mean, come on.
Oh my God. That's my favorite meal for football. Because we're doing this little segment, Game Day Bites with Shake Shack, we might as well answer a few food-related questions pertaining to football. Favorite stadium snack?
Glizzy. A good ballpark glizzy.
I'm going to go fries.
I mean, that's
Whether
fine.
they have cheese on them, depends on the day of the week. I'm going to eat cheese.
The issue with the cheesy
Ketchup.
fries, soggy, it's too soggy. That glizzy that comes out of that foil bag hits every time. Hits every time.
No, sometimes the bun's a little
sticky. That's what you want.
Ew. Least favorite game day snack?
Least favorite game day snack.
I'm going to go nachos.
I'm going to say something controversial.
Uh-oh.
A pretzel. The pretzels are not, it just doesn't hit. Pretzels are super hit or miss. You have to be kind of down bad to go and be like, oh, can I get a pretzel?
Really?
Yeah, like, oh, you're out of hot dogs. Oh, you're out of french fries. Oh, you're out of nachos. Oh, you're out of burgers. I'll take a pretzel.
It's honestly just like salted bread.
Exactly.
Okay, favorite snack to have at home watching the football game?
Maybe like a classic chili. We're not big cook at home.
I was going to
people.
say chili.
At game days, I'm not cooking at home.
Yeah, a good classic chili sounds really good.
Yeah, but Shake Shack or bust.
Nice chicken shack. Least favorite snack to have while watching the game at home?
Probably like candy corn.
Ew. Who you,
It's spooky season.
who's eating candy corn?
You might have some left over from Halloween, so you just, maybe it's an option. But candy corn would be last on my list, for sure.
I'm going to say my least favorite game day snack at home, fruit tray.
Oh.
Fruit tray, football. I mean, I like a mean vegetable tray because celery goes good with chicken.
Bring me that fried chicken. On a potato bun.
Not me burping.
Pickles, shake sauce, all that.
But something about a fruit tray, I'm like, this doesn't go with football.
Doesn't hit.
And you call football a gladiator sport. So it's like.
That it is. That it is.
So be sure to fill up your bellies this Sunday and every Sunday.
Yeah, you got to eat every day.
Yeah, you have to do it every day with Shake Shack, and be sure to take advantage of the offer during football season from now until December 15th. Free chicken Sundays at Shake Shack.
Wait, all the way through December?
December 15th.
Wow. When it gets into cozy season, like when you got a hoodie on and you're like, boy.
I'm going to go get my free chicken shack
Yeah,
with a
I'm gonna go get my
$10
free
minimum
chicken
purchase, okay?
Yeah, it sounds good.
From now until December 15th, Shake Shack is offering a free chicken shack with $10 minimum purchase with code Chicken Sunday at a Shack location, on the Shack app, or at shakeshack.com. Every Sunday, terms apply. Moving into cornerback.
Mm-hmm. Not to be mistaken for quarterback.
Cornerback, they're a defensive version of the wide receiver.
Right.
So what does that mean?
They're covering the receiver.
They cover them.
So these routes and
Yeah,
like
the
these
routes
things
and then
that
these
the
things,
receivers
yeah.
do, like to get open and get the ball, cornerbacks are the guys that are trying to shut them down.
And they
Also a very tough position.
So would you say they're probably the player on an NFL team with the highest amount of interceptions?
Oh, for sure. There would be no scenario. Well, actually, like Spillane isn't. He really is a good example. Like he has tons of interceptions all the time, every year. But your cornerback.
Everybody take a second and go and DM his wife Shelby and tell her to come on the podcast.
You actually should. That'd be funny. But yeah, typically cornerbacks are going to lead the team in interceptions.
Okay, that's good to know. And then safety.
Yep.
Strong safety, free safety.
Yeah.
I've never heard those words before.
I don't want to get too detailed here. It's hard not to.
Isaac, we fucking get it. You know
every
football.
time I say that, I try to
football.
gas it up. I'm like, I don't want to be like sound like
I don't want to
just know
sound like I know everything, but I fucking know everything.
But
We get it, Isaac.
defenses use their safeties for different reasons. A safety's primary job is pass, but a really good safety like Derwin James will stop the run. Like if a run breaks through, they are the guys that are going to come down and not miss tackles. And I say that purposely because sometimes that's all it's about is just not missing the tackle.
Don't miss the fucking tackle.
Yeah. Safeties also size-wise vary.
They're a security blanket for linebackers and cornerbacks.
Literally what I just described.
Yeah, you did.
I should.
Very
It's the least I could do.
a very popular safety would be Jonathan Owens.
Yeah.
Bears, Simone Biles' husband.
Simone Biles'
He scored a
husband.
touchdown week 1.
Yeah, special teams touchdown, though.
Okay. Which special teams? Jesus Christ. That's a whole different thing. And we're on special teams now.
Well, here's what's interesting about special teams. There's a whole set of positions within special teams.
Yeah. When do you need your special teams?
Special teams is like you're in between, right? So like
So that's
anytime
punting, kickoff,
yeah, well anytime at
extra
the
point.
anytime at the beginning or end of an offense having the ball, your special teams comes on. Like
And
for
you've
instance,
played on special teams.
Yes, I've played every special
different
teams.
positions play special teams.
Correct.
Okay. And they just are kind of funneled in.
Yeah, because very rarely, I mean, they do it, but very rarely are you building a team starting with who do we need on special teams?
No, I think the only special teams you necessarily care about to build your team with would be the kicker, long snapper, punter.
Yeah, but Nick DeZubnar, who is going to be on this podcast, he had a 7-year NFL career and only played like 40 defensive snaps his entire career.
So he was just really good on special teams.
The best. He led the NFL in special teams tackles. So
Interesting.
the point is, like, you'll have like a couple core guys that you have on your team for special teams that are not kickers, punters, or long snappers. But it's kind of like your leftover guys.
But it's good if they're versatile. Like, you've played special teams, but you also play defensive end.
It can add value.
So, yeah, I feel like it makes you a player that should be sought after.
Yeah, like a guy who shouldn't be sitting at home recording with his wife a podcast. What are we doing? Who do I need to talk?
Okay, so special teams is responsible for kickoffs, extra point tries, field goals, punts, basically the kicking game, attempting a kick, returning a kick, defending a kick. They're made up of 4 groups of players: the kickoff unit, the punting unit, the punt return, kickoff return, the field goal. Okay, they account for 35% of all points scored in a season, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Because you're not building your team you're not building a team based off of special teams, but they're very important.
That's a good way to put it. Anytime the ball is kicked, your special team's on the field.
Okay, so on special teams, I've kind of touched on these in season 1 of the episode, so I'll kind of touch on them briefly. You have the kicker, who's very important. I feel like a good kicker can make or break a football team. Think of how many extra points you get, and if you miss all of your extra points, you can lose.
You're not going to have a job.
Well, yeah.
But it's more so game-winning situations. You saw the Lions kicker this last week hit the game-winning field goal. So, like, that can make or break. So it's hard to win in the NFL. Sometimes games come down to 2 points, and you need to kick a field goal for 3. And, like, that's where your kicker can be crucial.
Yeah.
A really good kicker is Harrison Butker. Like, great kicker, and he won the Super Bowl for him. Like, he's good.
It's a shame he had to get rid of his dream of being a stay-at-home husband. Then you have your long snapper.
Yeah.
So they make long snaps.
So
that field goal and Pats need.
Yep. It's just you have to get the ball to the holder, the person that's holding for the other people to kick.
It's just a long snapper. Just snaps the ball long.
Yeah, it's a longer snap than usual.
And they are only playing when you're punting the ball, correct?
No.
Punting, no, whenever you're kicking.
Field goal.
Okay.
But not kickoffs.
Okay. And then you have the holder.
Yep.
Receive the long snapper's snaps.
Which is usually your punter or backup quarterback.
That's so interesting. So
it makes sense. It's very logical.
The long snapper is snapping to them. They're putting the ball on the ground, and then the kicker is kicking it.
Why do you think those guys are your holders?
Probably because they know the snap count.
No, because they.
I don't know. I'm guessing
because they spend their days catching a ball. A quarterback catches the ball every time the ball is snapped. He has to catch it. Punter, same thing. So they're good at catching the ball.
Interesting. I've never thought about a holder before in my life.
It's a random position.
It is.
1 of 11 out there.
Now I kind of want to watch them.
But so this is interesting. If your holder is a backup quarterback or it's like a punter that played quarterback in high school, they will talk about that in our game planning.
Really?
For fakes. So the dude could literally have not played quarterback.
Fake.
Yeah, it could be a high school quarterback, and they're like, "Yeah, he played quarterback in high school. Be on the lookout." And you're like, "All right."
But that's actually kind of juicy, right?
It is. It's super weird.
So then, when you have kickoff or kick return, they transfer possession of after any score.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the kicker, the kick returner. We already talked about the kicker, the kick returner.
Yeah.
Responsible receiving the opposing team's kickoff and running it as far as possible.
Right.
I'm terrified if I'm that position.
You're
grown men are running after you. I'm putting a knee down.
You said I'm not taking this at all.
No, I'm putting a knee down.
It's like your quickest, most athletic guy, really. Like your fastest, just put him back there.
Punter.
Yep.
When the team's offense is on fourth, we've kind of talked about punters when I had my friend Kylie Cole on the podcast.
Yeah, so you should go listen to that.
Yeah. Her husband's a really good punter.
One of the best in the NFL.
Isn't that crazy? A punter can make or break your team too. Because
Yeah.
they're responsible.
Field position.
I feel like everybody on the 53-man roster is important, right?
Yeah, but these specialty positions are very important.
Very.
Because if you need to flip
you
the field,
you can only have one.
You only have one. But if you need to flip the field and your punter has a bad punt, you talk about a mad GM, head coach, whole team.
I've never heard of the position gunner. They line up far behind the line of scrimmage and try to tackle the other team's punt returner as soon as they catch the punt.
Kind of a confusing thing. So basically, think about this. Your gunner is your special teams wide receiver. So, like, you take a guy who might not even play receiver and put him in the receiver position because you're changing possessions. So your receiver, as soon as the ball is kicked, becomes a cornerback because he's going to make a tackle.
So name it player.
Austin Eckler made his career as a gunner.
Really?
That's like how he became, because he was leading the league in special teams tackles as a gunner.
Interesting.
So they just go down and it's like backyard football, free for all. It's like you and another guy. Mike Davis made his career playing gunner.
Another position I've never heard of, jammer.
Goes against the gunner.
Wow. I've never heard these.
In which they're in their these are, I would hate to play either. Well, gunner less so.
Who's a jammer?
I mean, Eckler. Like, it just, you usually go
I thought
back
he was
and
a gunner
forth.
or a jammer.
Actually,
he can be both?
Yeah. I mean, you put like cornerbacks out there. Eckler probably didn't even play jammer now that I think about it. But yeah, it's like a cornerback.
So you're a liar.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
But I feel like talking about a gunner or a jammer is something that if you mentioned while watching a football game, people would turn around and be like, how do you know that?
It's well, like if a gunner made a tackle, you go like, oh, that's a good tackle by the gunner.
Yeah.
That's like high level ball.
I don't even fucking know that.
That's high level ball if you say that.
If you say that, I'm like, do you want to come on my podcast?
No, but it's not, nobody's talking about the Gunners. You'll watch ESPN all day during a Sunday football game.
And they'll
never say Gunner. They will not say jammer, I promise you that. Ever. Like
Why?
it's because it's like,
okay. Well, that's it. That's all we have for today.
oh wow, that was fun. All right, bye.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I mentioned this in the last episode, but I'll also mention it here. We are no longer doing the huddle episodes. It just became a lot. Okay. I have to pick and choose my battles, and
It got too nitty gritty. It was like this weird, like, do we get into details or do we just talk? Like,
well, and I wanted them to be digestible, but then it just, I don't know. I honestly, we have so much going on, and holidays are coming up, but I feel like it's so easy to make like an extra episode every month if we want to, and we can talk about some of the up-to-date things, or even just come on socials.
yeah. I mean, how are we going to do 2 episodes? I can't even finish this episode without, I've been looking at my daughter this whole time. Just
every time he looks down, I'm like, Isaac here, buddy. He's not looking at my tits. He's looking at our daughter.
Oh, how life changes.
Life. What a wild ride. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on the Sunday Sports Club podcast Instagram, because I'll be doing a Q&A episode here pretty soon. Also, if you have any questions about the holidays, I'm going to do a Thanksgiving episode and a Christmas episode to talk about holidays in around the NFL.
Wow.
So feel free to send us a DM with a question you guys have, or put it on one of our social posts.
And if one more person DMs me and tells me to fill up Allie's water bottle, I will never fill up her water bottle again.
Isaac.
I'm going to get canceled over
No,
that.
let the flood happen. Yeah, go in his
No pun
DMs right
intended.
now. Anyways, thanks guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you next Sunday.